Hi, Sirius.
Hi guys,
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much. How are you?
Welcome to Digital Lisbeth.
Oh, oh my God! I was trying to clearly do two things at once. Digital nomad, digital respect. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I wonder, do I have time to get a quick copy?
Hilarious.
Freudian slip. You're always on my mind. Always on my
Seven,
mind.
7 minutes.
Definite time to get a
You
coffee.
have 7 minutes.
I invite you all to my kitchen to listen to
Make
my
a run
coffee
for it.
machine.
Digital Lisbeth says, no thanks, I'll rather stay on Mars.
Digital Lisbeth.
Hmm.
Digital Lisbeth.
That's me.
Ooh, I do believe we're live on YouTube, dancing on a Martian car.
This is an African car brought to Mars. I'll just have you know.
Oh, excuse me. Whoa, fasten your seatbelts.
There are no
Woohoo!
seatbelts on the top, but Digital Lisbeth is okay. I can balance.
Don't get motion sickness. Hang on, TV. We're going for a ride. Ooh, I better not crash it. Better go back. Better go back. Whoa, watch out, people. Oh my God. Okay.
Hi, Linda.
Hello there.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Cyrus.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very good.
Hi, Glenn.
Hi, Glenn. We'll go for a drive, guys, before we go. We have 2 minutes.
Whoa,
Jump
whoa,
on,
whoa,
Glenn.
sorry, whoa.
Whoops. Sorry.
Hey,
Did I
Coach.
run over someone?
You did, but don't worry. Hey,
You're only digital.
Alexander. Hey, Coach. Hey,
Good,
Kojima.
good morning. Good morning.
Hi, guys. Hey, Coach.
Oh, hey
Alex.
there.
Dima. Pinky Deska.
I love the fact
Dark
that
Coach. It's
everybody
Dark
always
Oh,
Coach.
arrives.
yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
What is it, Lisbeth? What'd you say?
No, I was
Dark
saying that I
Coach.
love the fact that
Dark Coach.
everybody arrives early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very punctual.
I love it.
I like this. Punctual group. Counting down for 2 p.m. my time, 3 p.m. CET. Where else have we? Coach, what time is it for you? 8
9
a.m.,
a,
9 a.m.?
9 a.m.
9 a.m.?
1 a.m. for Coach,
Wow.
7
4
a.m.
p.m.
Linda, time is for you?
11 p.m. in Japan.
7 a.m. for me.
7 a.m. That's nice. 11
Hi,
p.m. in
Remy.
Japan. So we've got
Hello.
multiple.
Hi, Rami.
Hi, Rami. How are you?
Good.
Welcome.
Good. Thank you very much.
Today, guys, we're exploring how interactions
I was
can
muted.
enhance the social experience.
Oh, how to
So
sit?
think of it like when you go to a real world conference, how is the space laid out to spark sort of inspiration, new connections, conversations that spark up new everything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me okay? Yes, because I was muted. And I don't know if it's working yet.
Hi, Glenn.
We
Yeah,
can
we
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Oh, you do hear me. Hey, I forgot to unmute when I joined. I was chatting away to you all and then wondering why
Oh,
no one was
I
talking
always
back.
do that.
I was chatting back. Don't worry. In my head.
I could hear you in my mind.
Fair enough. Are we going for that
Please
drive or are we?
don't read my mind, please.
Mm. The VR users, don't be alarmed. It will look like the PC or iPhone or phone users are being dragged out the back, but they're not. It's just so that both platforms can ride on the same vehicle.
It could get bumpy, guys. Hang on.
There's a break free of the little small areas here. Go wild. We have a whole planet.
Hi,
Okay.
Michio.
I didn't want to, in case people drop in and we're kind of gallivanting around the planet Mars, they may not know we're
We're
here.
gallivanting. It's okay. We're nomads.
Here we
That's
go
what we do.
then. Let's go for a ride. Do the quest in the
Woohoo!
Martian rover. Can't do the quest
Not
in the
the
Martian rover.
African
Stop.
Martian rover.
Oh my god! Who's in VR?
Me
Fasten
and
your
Rami, I
seatbelt.
think.
Rami
Oh
and
my
Glenn,
god,
I
Rami.
think.
Tell
I
me
am
how,
in VR.
tell me how nauseating it is. Here we go. We're going to the flat part now.
As
Really
long as I look
smooth
forward,
here.
it's okay.
This is lovely and smooth here, this area. So we can do handbrake turns. Here we go, top speed.
Woohoo.
Here is where we have the giant dome, but we haven't done the quest, so you're not seeing all the built-up
I need to
objects
come and
that
do this one.
exist on this
I keep
planet.
coming in here for the start of these events, and then I never actually do this one. So I need to do this one.
You can
You'll
also
enjoy
hear
it, Glenn.
you can also hear real Martian
I'm sure I
sound
would.
recorded by NASA from the Perseverance rover. So you hear music, how music actually really does sound on Mars, and you hear specific messages from the children of planet Earth.
very touching.
Now the question is, how do I get back? Here, I
Just
think.
got it.
We look for the
Hopefully
sign.
that-
Here we
hopefully
go.
the
Follow
yellow
the
brick
That's
road.
follow the
perfect.
yellow brick road. Yeah. Whoa, it's bumpy. It's bumpy.
I think it's bumpy for you, mate.
I can,
It's very bumpy.
I can only imagine what it's like in VR.
Oh, I was doing a flying sim the other day in VR, and not a whole sim, but just a random world like these, and lost control of a pterodactyl. I went into a flat spin while standing. I very nearly face planted.
Oh my god.
Okay, shall we get
First time I
going?
felt
Here
sick
we
in
go. Yeah.
ages.
Yeah.
Right,
Yes.
let's hop off.
Okay.
All right. So,
Everyone jump.
Cyrus, do
oh,
you
we've got
want to
Vanessa
give
as
a
well.
little
I
briefing
do.
for the new people?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, guys, welcome to Digital Nomads. Every Thursday we meet at this hour, whatever time it is for you. And the whole purpose of DN is to explore the digital space, explore virtual worlds, see what we like, what we don't like, what works, what doesn't work, and what's the reasoning as to why things work in 3D design. It's a good way to meet new people and just have a lot of fun at the same time. We're not like the conventional tour guides, so we explore with you. And if you find anything of interest, anything that sparks your imagination, the topic theme of today is we're looking at how interactions can enhance social experiences in 3D and digital. So let's explore and let's chat about it in real time as well. Later on, when we finish, we go back to Lisbeth's My African Dream and we chat about it and we see what works, what doesn't, and hopefully we learn together and improve our design and our experience of the metaverse. That's Digital Nomads.
And
We
welcome
usually-
to Studio La Gazelle and to Vanessa. I think they're joining us today.
Vanessa's been
Oh,
once.
thank you, Wendell.
Okay.
Studio Gazelle hasn't, and Alexander hasn't either. And Rami sort of came last week, but then we lost you. You got eaten by the ghosts in the Forgotten Village.
The Halloween special. So usually we start from left to right. And we shall begin if everyone's
I'm just
ready.
wondering where Dave is. Do you know, Rami?
Oh, let's
Have
take
no
a photo.
idea. He told me he's coming, but I don't know if he's here. I mean, not here, but if he's coming at this time or maybe a couple of minutes later.
Okay.
Let's all kind of
Well, he'll know where
Let's
to
all-
find
But
us.
pile
yes,
into a group and take a pic.
Let's
All right,
take a
that's
photo.
looking good. Looking good.
Welcome,
Oop, I need to put my
Ines.
head up. Okay, cool. Feel free, guys, to take loads of pics and tag Digital Nomads as we go along.
And the
Sweet, let's
discussion
do
at the
this.
end is a really important part of
Yep.
Digital Nomads. We don't just want to go hopping and exploring and not discuss it and gain benefit out of it from all of us. So we understand like it's late in Japan, but if at all possible, please stay for the discussions of afterwards, because that's a critical part of the whole process.
Okay, cool. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's jump
for
in.
some reason my joystick is not working.
Oh no.
Whoa, this is impressive.
Okay, here we are.
So Glenn, seeing as this is your space, do you want to tell us about it?
Sure. So hi and welcome to the main hall. So this main hall was actually built. We've actually built a whole bunch of spaces for running conferences online as a way to improve, not just sitting in Zoom all the time. We've had a couple of large conferences use these spaces. One is the IAU, which you can still see the banners up. That's the International Astronomical Union. And we use this central space kind of just as a meeting, it's like the central hub that all the other spaces come into, the place that you're supposed to have those corridor conversations with people and stuff. And we spent a lot of time optimizing this. When we did,
Yes,
first to
we
admit,
can see
we didn't
that.
make these models. Yeah, we didn't make these models from scratch. We did end up purchasing them, but when we got this room, it was about 10 million polygons, and I think we got it down to about
Whoa.
500K in the end.
Yes, that was going to be my first question to you is, how do you have so many beautiful lights and couches, yet you're
Yeah,
running
well,
at like 500,000 vertices.
a lot of
and there's a
a
whole
lot of
themed section. So I was super interested.
yeah, well, just a lot of well, not a huge amount of time, but a lot of careful thought in what we ended up optimizing on. So like those brown screens over there
It was
with the
quite a lot of
cut-throughs.
time, dude.
I know it was a fair bit, yeah. But like a lot of the time, we ended up using like cut-through textures rather than actual rendered things. So those screens are a good example. The what else was there? The roof, I think we no. Oh yeah, these
A
birds,
lot
these
of it
were
actually,
beautiful, but they got blooded.
like all the lights
Well,
you see, the ceiling lights, these pillar lights, all the lights around the outside of the hall, they were all redone. Every
yeah, that's true.
single wood panel was redone, and the windows were redone, and there's a lot basically.
There was actually quite a bit. And these lights, actually, these were beautiful when we first had them. They're still beautiful now, but they're a lot more simple. There was like,
Yeah,
I
they
think
got
it was like,
simplified.
yeah.
When you
most
say
of
By the
them
way,
redone,
the
what do you mean? Did you?
The reason Elle knows so much about this is because Elle is the person who spent a lot of time optimizing. I was really happy we could
Yeah.
keep these lovely like little shuriken birds up there. They were
Yeah.
almost going, but Elle managed to save them too.
Yeah. So when we say
Yeah, they're
optimized,
cool. They're very impressive.
for example, these lights were initially a full light mesh, and they were super dense, basically like chicken wire mesh, and they caused all these beautiful shadows on the wall. But it was like, what was it, like 30,000 polygons per light?
They were really
Yes.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
So
it was a
we
physical
just
mesh.
redesigned the texture and basically used like an alpha texture, right? And then applied the lighting to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then
And
they
the same is
Okay.
true of these panels as well. They used to be physical meshes as well. You see the grid pattern,
yeah.
and now it's
Let's
just
see a bit
material.
here.
Nice.
Everything else was basically like we. Oh, go ahead, Linda.
No, sorry, I was just going to say, remember everybody to like the space. So beautiful.
My
Yeah,
favorite is
absolutely.
over here.
Got the
And I saw
fireplace area.
you working with the South African department, hence
Um,
the African theme, right?
Yeah, so
Well,
this
we're
was
working.
the IU was held in South Africa this year. So it's a
Okay.
4-yearly conference that goes for about 2 weeks, and it was in Cape Town. So what we actually we already picked the space because we like the space, but it really does lend itself to South Africa.
Mhm.
But one of the things we did in here, so this area was built quite late on in the event. We built this as like a gathering area for like an Ask Me Anything session, and we had 2 Ask Me Anythings. One was with the Nobel Prize winner. They sat there with, I think Elle was doing the management of the question and answering session, and then we had 20-30 people in here for an Ask Me Anything with we had the Nobel Prize winner, and then who was it from NASA? Elle?
Kartik Sheath from NASA. He's like the
Yeah.
associate science director, I think. Is
Yeah.
the title?
So yeah, and that went really well actually. That was all hosted in platform. We also streamed into the lecture hall, which I don't think we should go into because it's just a hall. We streamed into the lecture hall a lot of the talks basically from the live conference in South Africa. But yeah, this was really just kind of that central hub space that everyone comes back to, so that they can run
Mhm.
into each other and have those organic
And also,
conversations.
regarding the optimization as well, like some things we simplified, but some things I literally just remodeled, and you can't obviously tell the difference between the original
Yeah.
and the one I did, but the original just wasn't optimized. So
Yeah.
it looked exactly the same. It was still a physical mesh, but I just did it with a lot less polys. We found that was very effective too.
Oh, one thing that we did do that is worth knowing for everyone else is there's 2 things. Obviously, we did use LODs in here for a while, and they helped somewhat. But the one that really helped was I posted it in the channel for the Digital Nomads on the Discord. There's a tool that we bought that was like $20, and it allowed us to, just before we do the push, just before we do the upload to Spatial, basically run an optimization on it that merges all of the meshes that can be merged. And that was lowered the draw calls for multiple objects using the same materials. So like the draw calls for all of these panels, all of the parts of the walls, they're not going anywhere, they're fixed. So they end up all being one merged mesh with one material. And it's that way it's then batched, so that it doesn't have to basically load the materials for that wooden wooden arch,
Mhm.
and then load the material for the roof and draw a bit of the roof, and then go back to doing the next arch or the next panel. There's an overhead with that, so by batching them all at once, you can basically get quite a performance. That massively reduced our lag in here for on the Quest headsets. It went from like 30 frames a second to about 50, 60, I think it is now. Unless I can't hear you, you have to rejoin because you've muted and unmuted and it's bugged. Yeah.
Chipmunk.
See you in a sec. Do we want to move through to the exhibition hall? Because there's actually a lot through that way. So
yeah, let's keep moving.
Well, let's look at this space first. So let's explore the whole of this space and then move to the exhibition hall. So explore freely, guys. It reminds me of the business class lounge in the UAE on the Dubai International Airport. That's how pretty it is.
it does actually. Hey.
Totally, Liz. Totally.
It is, eh?
Mm-hmm. Especially the pillars.
Yes. I love the water, and if I'm not mistaken, this is actually just a plane with the animated texture, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
The
so.
flowing water.
So we actually had a number of
Wow.
different people each contribute different small, like different parts essentially. So Elle worked a lot on like the lights and the optimization, but we had another colleague, Aidan, decided he wanted a water feature in here, and he also basically brought in and remodeled some of the smaller side rooms, and they look great. And as you say, the water texture is incredibly simple, but very effective. And the sound as well helps, divide the
Yes.
room a little bit more.
So when you say remodeled, it was an existing space.
No, actually. So one of the things we cut from in here, a lot of the things we cut were like kind of like wall decorations and art. There's still some of it, but we actually paid a friend, an artist, to redo these wall panels, and these are now just plain textures, yeah, with different themes of the conference on them. Originally, they were all shells with these super delicate and intricate golden vases on them, which looked beautiful. But again, each vase was like, a couple of 100K polygons.
It is a lot less beautiful when we did a poly count.
Yeah.
So what I mean, Glenn, was it a space that already existed?
Chipmunky.
So it was an existing model, the whole space.
Yes,
and
it
you
was.
guys redid a lot of it.
This,
Okay, that's what I was asking.
yeah, so the space itself was purchased. We absolutely did not model it from scratch. We're novices at this. So it's we purchased some of the assets and then we took a chance on this one because we knew it was 10 million poly, and we were like, it's never going to work. But I really fell in love with the view of the space, and so we're going to try and do it. It's quite funny. You're up on the ceiling. This is actually something that people ended up doing. It's like sitting on the logo and taking photos, and sitting on the ceiling. There are even some seats tucked away up there, and that was a surprisingly popular icebreaker.
These lights. I'm obsessed with the lights. I'm trying to figure out how you. I think the circular thing is a texture, right? There's not actually all those little.
They were initially.
Oh my goodness, yeah. That would be 1 million per light.
Pretty much,
like
yeah.
that's your whole space gone. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Absolutely.
But especially for those, because you don't even, okay, you're up close to them, but most people don't even see them up close. So it was a complete waste of polys.
But I mean, they look perfect to me. They look absolutely perfect to me. The first thing I noticed, the first thing I climbed on.
Looks like. Yeah, it's straight up there, eh? It's a wonderful spot to overview the conference.
And we also found this thing that you can climb on.
Yeah, that was a last-minute Easter egg. It doesn't go anywhere. We just wondered if people would notice and pick it up. It kind of looks like a roof pool, but yeah, it was really just an Easter egg. This was. But there is a lot more to the venue. I'm a bit wary of time. We head this way
We've still
through to
got.
the. Oh, have we? Okay,
We're not
I
going
won't
to go
rush you.
to.
That's right. It's just
We're not going to go to all your spaces, right?
okay.
So we thought to do this
No,
one,
but
and then
I
the exhibition hall.
yes,
Yeah.
I thought you might want to do like either the ASCAP space or the CO2 tower, but you don't have to, of course, or the JAXA Hall. But maybe just pick one.
The exhibition hall for me was absolutely stunning. So I think people
Okay.
will
That's good.
enjoy that one a lot. I love all the seating areas, but for me, like, I'm obsessed with dark brown couches, and every couch is a
So you must love
nightmare
this
for me
spot.
because it's got so many
Okay.
vertices. So the fact that you have a million couches in here impresses
You
me
can-
a lot.
The what was I going to say? The wasn't the couches. What were you saying just before that, Lisbeth? It was something, you said something else.
The
And it
lights,
triggered a memory.
the lights, the dark brown couches, the
It was
exhibition
almost it was
hall.
the sentence just before.
That
That's
I'm
okay.
obsessed
I
with
can't
dark
remember
brown
now.
couches and all the
I
seating
thought it
areas.
was something to do with that, but I can't remember what it is now.
That you
Oh,
have
yeah,
multiple
in fairness,
seating
we spent a
areas.
lot of time remodeling the dark brown couches. Yeah, that was it. Oh, that was what I was going to say. We did have the spatial audio on here. That was one of the things that we really love about spatial, especially in the headset, is that you can have like 5 people across the hall having conversations
Yes.
and not interfere with each other. But we turn it off so that we don't get too mixed up.
Yeah, it's stunning, stunning, stunning. And the lighting is at point lights. Like over here.
Yeah,
Where am I?
facing the wall.
Yes, I'm
There's
looking
no
at the
ledge
lights
on that. Yeah.
coming down. No, I'll find a way up, trust me. Yep, there I
I
go.
should have made
Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah.
those sizes rendered.
Whee!
Oh, that's a
I love the flag materials for the advertising. It looks extremely realistic.
Oh yeah, actually those were animated by one of our other TFOB members, Aiden. He built it from scratch.
Very
Yeah.
cool. And that you can just add sort of the flag material and increase the amount of movement. It's super easy to do.
There is,
But
and there's
it
just
has
a
a
couple
huge
on a
impact.
different random seeds so that they're not all in
Yeah,
in sync, which does make a difference.
super cool. Dun, dun, dun. Oops, sorry, Linda.
Take a seat. I will give you
No,
my
no,
seat.
I'm okay, yeah. Thank you.
So we did actually have a few good conversations in here, and a few. One of the things we found worked really well was we had academic posters, which are like these big A0 scientific posters with all like the info and diagrams on them for each person's project. And we found that we had like we found that for some of those that they were really good icebreakers. Like people could stand next to their poster at the designated time, and then people could walk around and go, "Oh, this looks interesting. Tell me more about what you're doing." And yeah, that worked really well as an icebreaker for driving interactions. Yeah.
Cool. Shall we move to the next one, Cyrus? 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 Okay, never
Mute
mind.
Is he
unmute,
gone?
you
Keep
know,
going.
sometime and talking, but who knows?
Maybe he's taking a break. He's using the couches for their desired purpose.
I suspect he's coming in VR, actually.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Because normally he's switching over, I guess, but we shall find out soon. So these birds are They look like particles to me.
They're not.
you
They're
said
all
it's like a text.
they're all actual very, very low vertex counts. Elle, you remodeled them, right? How did you get
Actually,
them?
for these, all I did was I decimated. I
Ah,
dropped
okay.
them into Blender and I just hit decimate. So they were surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
Because you just needed to get like the sense of them. You didn't really need them to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I've
I
made it
didn't
in
know they were
VR.
birds. I just...
Ah, hey, sis,
Ah,
we
that's what
thought
I
you
thought
might
you
be
were doing.
swapping.
I was trying to
Yeah,
talk to you and
sorry
I was
guys, I
like,
got
hello,
stuck
hello.
in
And
my
then I said,
menu.
I was like, I
Well-
think he's switching over into VR. So which one is fake Cirrus? Hello, fake Cirrus. Okay.
Okay, actually,
Decoy Cirrus.
can I just check it out in VR
Of course.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
before we head to the next space?
I like the reflection on the floor and on the pillars.
Yeah, they were a
Whoa,
bit of a
Linda.
nightmare.
He just passed through me like a ghost. Okay, it's a totally different experience in VR, first of all.
How is it?
Well, the usual, everything is just so much realer. For a start.
Ah, Dave, there you are. I was
Wow.
getting worried, Dave.
Yeah, hi
Really
guys.
good
I fell
model.
asleep actually, so.
Oh, good.
The birds look pretty cool in VR actually. I'm glad you kept them.
Yeah, we
They're really
we were
cool.
tossing up and about removing them entirely, but they add quite a lot to the space.
It would be nice
once
if
we
they
got-
moved a little bit.
Cool. Hey, Glenn.
Oh, I mean, if we could figure out to do particle effects, that would be another way of doing it. And then you could have them moving,
Yeah.
which would be quite nice.
I mean, I could
Yeah.
show you if you want.
Oh,
That'd
definitely.
be really cool if the birds moved a little bit. Not too much though, because in VR it would be maybe a bit too much.
Yeah.
It's cool. So different when you come in VR. Wow, the lights.
Feels like you're actually in a space, hey, is the big difference.
It really does. It's still crazy.
Not
Oh wow,
leave your baggage
these banners
unattended.
move slightly. That's pretty
It's like an
impressive.
airport. It's so pretty.
These banners here are moving. I didn't see that on my laptop. Ooh. It's like a nice little wind effect.
So the next space that we're going to go to is the exhibition hall, which, if I'm not mistaken, is
This way.
over here.
All right.
So
I'll go in first and wait for the instance to spawn. Give us just a sec. So yeah, if you just walk up to here, you can click, you can point and click like the video play. They will stop if you move too far away from them. And the only reason they're not playing automatically is because we're paying per minute for the video stream, like per minute served. And we were expecting anything up to like 1,000 people to come through. So we didn't want all the videos playing all the time. And you know, just
are
because
they
one person's in the instance.
APIs or
Uh,
is it
no, this is
an
literally
API
just
when you say
straight
you're
in
paying
the...
per...
Oh, so we're paying for the hosting of the videos and then the serving of those
Oh, I see.
videos to the video player. It's just hosted in Mux, and then it's just a web URL from the Mux link to the Unity built-in Unity web player, built-in Unity video player. And it does work, despite what Spatial tell you, it does work on the web browser. They just fly. So yeah, if you walk up to any of these and press play underneath them, or press E while standing near them, it will play a video.
Very cool.
Might
Glenn,
take
do
a
you
while to
mind?
load.
I had to ask Coach the same thing. We have a lot of second language speakers, so if you don't mind speaking English a little bit slower, because I think we're going to lose
Oh, of
a lot
course.
of people otherwise in their understanding. Thank you.
Cirrus, I think you've muted and unmuted, so you need to rejoin probably. But yeah, explore.
I think
There is
I'm okay now. Can you hear me?
No, Cyrus, your audio is not okay.
Oh,
It's
You've
not
muted and then
okay.
unmuted, and you've got the bug. So the only solution is to rejoin, I'm afraid.
oh no.
You got the gargle bug.
Can I help you, Dave?
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
back on my laptop.
Mhm.
I would like to know
So
about
one
EMCR
thing-
I
forum.
got the VR code.
I was going to say, one thing we did actually do in here was we had set times for people to come in and do the exhibition centre. And using those set times, we were telling staff members to basically man the booths. So we had real representatives from these organisations here to talk to the real attendees, essentially.
Wonderful.
I like the way that the for the quest that the things disappear. They it sort of get suctioned up as you
Yes.
select each of them. So that was super cool with the sound effect.
A lot of our users have never used a video game of any form, so we really had to try and spell it out, and even then it was very hard for them to pick up the quest mechanic, which was surprising. We had a whole tutorial world actually with animated characters telling people how to use the platform, and
That's
people just
helpful,
didn't
I
listen to
find.
them. Yeah, well, it
Oh
would
gosh.
be, but they didn't read and they didn't listen and they didn't listen to the audio guide either. So
I tend to
That's
do like
interesting.
if it's an event where I know there's going to be a lot of people that are new, I'll plan to start 30 minutes earlier than when I want my program to actually start, and then I do it with them because then they actually do it, right? So I'll be like,
that
okay, we're all
helped a
going to
lot.
walk. Let's press W. Let's try it. You know,
Yeah,
because people
that
don't
we
read and
did
people
do
don't
that.
watch, including me.
Yeah, so we did do that, and we really did try to hold their hands, and that definitely helped. But we also it was a not 24/7 conference, but it was in South Africa,
Whoa.
and we were in Australia,
One.
so it was odd hours to
Yeah.
support, shall we say. So we also wanted
Yes.
people to be able to
Yes.
join whenever they wanted and do the
Of course.
do
Yes.
the onboarding.
Yeah, no, it's
And is it
important.
primarily for VR or for a desktop, laptop? That
Both, but mainly
you want
desktop,
people?
laptop.
Yeah.
We probably only had like on the order of tens of people attending VR, and we probably had on the order of, I don't know, in total maybe 100 people attend the event. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure we're doing the JAXA Hall or the ASCAP Hall.
That's
But we did also make for each of these. So some of we're not necessarily going to do them, but the portals in here link to worlds made by made by us for the organisations that were interested in doing it. So, for example, the JAXA Hall is the Japanese Space Agency, and that one has examples of ongoing missions, and you can walk and jump around on a real asteroid surface.
Oh, we definitely have to come back here in our own time and explore. I think there's so
Yeah,
much.
Oh, that's
please
for
do.
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also the ASCAP Museum, which is a big radio telescope in Australia, and that has like some interactable models, some animated models, and some video holograms explaining how those things work. Yeah,
Nice.
and
I
something we're really
absolutely
proud. I'm
love
really
these
proud.
little booths, like
Yeah,
conversation booths.
with the spatial audio, they work quite well.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
I do wish though that there was how do I say it? What do you call it? Like I've seen it in some apps in VR where like the actual walls reflect the sound as they would in real life. So like you can, if you walk in there, the sound changes so that you're not as easily heard outside of that area, but still hearable. Pretty crazy.
Very cool.
Mm. Yeah, this space is
I think-
amazing.
Cyrus, I think we will have time to go to one more of them. We must just pick one so that we all go to the same one.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think.
What
do you
what do you wanna
recommend,
do?
Glenn?
Yeah.
Either the ASCAP Hall or the JAXA Hall / Ryugu,
I think
which is
JAXA.
JAXA.
Let's do JAXA. I like the
Okay.
sound of that.
Where's it
That's
gone?
good.
That's the other end. It's over this corner.
Whoa, I've lost. People are following
Over
me.
here.
Don't follow me. I have no sense of
Over
direction.
here.
Terrible idea.
Elizabeth.
Haha.
Where's Glenn? Glenn, where are you?
He's here.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
JAXA Hall portal.
Okay, so we will now go to the JAXA Hall.
Exhibition hall.
All that signage and people still get lost in there. So on the other side of the asteroid, there is an interactable that allows you to put layer on different, like a different view of the locations on the asteroid.
I
in
think
the
there's
center.
fall off. We can't hear.
Oh, true.
Oh, there is fall off on
We're
this
not
one.
hearing.
Show the locations of different. What was it? Mission landing.
It's just named locations on the
Different named
asteroid.
locations on the asteroid.
Yes, they named craters, they named really big boulders, and then they named landing sites.
And the asteroid is a real scan data as well, right? This one.
It is,
So
yes. It is the official shape model from that particular mission.
Ah, cool.
and I guess it's only another 30 seconds, but if you wanted to, there is a portal on that side that takes you to walk on the surface of the higher resolution scan, shall we say.
You can also ride the little mascot that's going around the outside, the
Of
little
this,
yellow
of this
spacecraft.
building. Yeah.
Yeah, and this one. So if you go out of this...
Oh, it's a little yellow box. So cute.
I know.
The fall
You
off.
can't turn it off in VR.
Don't worry.
Spacecraft lands just here. Little spacecraft lands just on this side. If you want to hop on, give him a sec. There is a. There you go. There is a. Alexander's looking very, very alien. Kind of appropriate. And that's it, it just comes back. It's just a little loop. You have to be an admin of the space, so we really only do it for when we're doing smaller tours. And again, much of the things around the wall.
That's
are
a good
video
idea.
players.
Sorry, Mitch, you answered.
Oh, it looks like the spaceship is crashing.
And the different one.
The little SpongeBob satellite.
Yeah. You have a Sakura. Nice.
you can now teleport into portals. That's new. I might just go turn the spatial audio off in here.
Elizabeth, we have audio far from the weather cloud. Are you here, Elizabeth?
Let's take a photo, guys. Oh, Tina's gone. Digital Lisbeth.
You know, Elle, I never actually got to look at this place properly with all the IE chaos. It's so cool.
Yeah,
I
I
turned
only finished
spatial
it
audio
like
off.
moments before we
That's
had to go
that's
live.
insane.
But the videos and things play as well, people. There's a few where you can click for video and then a few that are just images.
Michio,
Catherine was
Michio,
also-
can you say what you were telling us? We didn't hear just now with the audio. You were saying something about in Japan.
Yes, here, the Hayabusa 2 was in of Hayabusa satellite takes return from accident, maybe is a popular, and we have a movie for that story. And that's it.
Is Michio really quiet for anyone else?
Yeah, his audio.
Yes, I'm not able to hear him
Michio, your
properly.
mic is too quiet.
I think what he
I
said.
heard something. I think
Hello. Can
Oh,
you
That's
hear
much
me?
better.
Yes, that's better.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So here is the. I'm glad to see the Hayabusa 2 mission board here. In Japan, the story of the safe return of Hayabusa satellite from accident is popular, and we have a movie for that. I'm glad to see it in Spatial.
Cool, the Hayabusa mission.
Yeah, I think I've seen the movie actually.
Actually, it's not translated into English.
It was about number 1, right? Sorry?
There's 3 movies and a
there's
documentary, but
3,
only
okay.
one has English subtitles.
Probably saw that one.
Yeah, it's very poorly known outside Japan, but Michio-san's right. Within Japan, it's very well known. Hayabusa 2 was better known outside Japan because it was a more international mission with more international partners.
Cool.
It actually landed on. Yeah, so this is the one that landed on the asteroid, right, and took a sample.
Yes, this is Hayabusa 2. So Hayabusa 1 looks really similar, but it's only got one large gain antenna on the top. And Hayabusa 1 is the really famous one because shortly after launch, it was hit by the largest solar flare in history. It seriously damaged the spacecraft.
That's the movie I saw.
Yeah, and
That's
they
the one I
didn't
saw.
know whether it could come back or not. But Hayabusa 2 didn't have any serious problems, which makes for a better mission but a less good movie.
Ah, very good.
Thank you for your explanation.
Thank you, Michio-san.
I confused the Hayabusa 1 and 2.
Actually, you said them correctly, I think. You said Hayabusa 1 had the movie. You were right.
Thank you.
Oh no, I messed up. Phil. Right.
Oh my goodness, I've been on mute. Wow.
Oh, no, I think you're very quiet.
You were
Interesting.
rather
I
quiet.
had to say, I was like, what have I done? People normally listen to me. I was like, let's take, am I on an asteroid? What do you call this spinny thingy?
It is an
Let's take a
asteroid,
photo
yes.
in the center
Yeah.
on the asteroid, yes. Oh my goodness, and Cyrus, I spoke to you when you called me Digital Lisbeth. Oh my goodness. Okay, whew. I do that all the time.
Sorry for laughing.
Not hearing the remorse there, but okay.
Yeah, I'll try again. Oh, Lisbeth,
I get
that's
zero
terrible.
remorse. Thank you.
So sorry to hear that.
Here's the practice. Can you get up
There we
here now?
go. That sounds
Okay.
so authentically
Oh,
remorseful.
there's the camera.
Picture on
Okay,
the droid. Is everybody
The other way,
here?
Cyrus.
Oh, which way are we going? Sorry.
I'm guessing we're doing... Oh, we're not doing it where the camera is. Oh, that's the
Where is
stream
it? Oh.
cam.
Oh.
So was I face?
You're
yeah,
seeing the
just-
camera in a different spot to me.
Maybe
Ah,
we're doing
I'm
Lisbeth's camera.
mistaken.
Just face where Lisbeth
Where's
is.
the camera? I don't see the camera. Oh, there it is. Sorry, Louis. Mm-mm.
I don't know where it is. And we're all rotating, which doesn't help.
Yeah, straight ahead. That's true. Wave to YouTube, people.
I've lost it. It was behind me and now it's gone.
Just wave,
I don't know
and
what
just
we're
keep
doing.
waving.
I
It's going to be
can't
fine.
see it. Are you
Oh, you
floating? Because it's
can.
blitzed.
Waving or flailing
From
at
outer
this point.
space.
Oh, there it is.
This
yeah,
time
how do you
you
do
can't
the other world?
know it again.
How do you get on the
Let's say,
asteroid?
You can just teleport over onto the top of it if you want. Just click on the top.
Oh, I think Coach is in
Can you hear
VR.
people now,
Can you make
Rami?
it?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Could you hear me?
Okay, good. Yeah, I hear
Yes.
you.
I can now.
Cyrus, I'm not on
Cool.
mute.
Oh, okay,
I
sorry.
was looking for my floating animation and I couldn't find it.
I've just after
So,
seen
I don't think we've done it in
SpongeBob.
here, but...
SpongeBob satellite pass by.
Oh,
That
Sputnik.
would be the Hayabusa 2, sir.
Sputnik. No, that's Sputnik. Sputnik revenge. Sputnik back.
Oh, I forgot to order potatoes, thank you.
What?
Side note. Irrelevant side note, I had to order potatoes for my
Oh.
dinner, never mind.
You're
And when you
just-
said
You're
Sputnik,
just talking
was like,
out your
"Ooh,
shopping list now.
Spudnik.
potatoes.
Oh, you heard Sputnik.
Spudnik.
Oh,
Oh, that's
Sputnik.
funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Not Spudnik.
Sputnik.
That's
Maybe
it.
it must be my Irish
Maybe
accent. Is it? Potato Nick. Okay.
Actually, one of
Maybe
the other things we found was a good ice. Oh,
Oh.
go ahead.
Well, Glenn, I'm glad you were able to open these up for everybody. I enjoyed it so much when you showed it to me the first time.
Yeah, thanks for coming again, man. It's,
Oh, of
thanks
course.
for putting us in contact with the group. It's,
Sorry I fell asleep. Of course, yeah.
sorry. You've seen it once before.
I know,
How
I've seen
dare
it.
you,
so-
Dave?
I know, right?
Oh, Louis is gonna have to edit that before it goes up onto YouTube.
Oh,
Oh no, we're live.
yeah.
Oh no, my Sputnik is gonna be a short. Why do I always say stupid things in front of Louis?
I think that's a
Love
pretty good pun, actually.
A
Yeah.
question,
I really,
Glenn.
really genuinely forgot to order potatoes because I can't eat solid food because I had a tooth pulled. So I was
Wow.
like, oh, potato mash, I forgot. Yes.
Question,
Sorry,
Is
Linda,
that
go
a
ahead.
question, Linda?
is the space always open? I mean, or will we be able to come back and visit it?
I'd have to. I think we can leave them open for a little while. A couple of days.
Please
shall we
do.
say?
I'd like to come back here with
Please
someone.
do. I've also thought of
Yeah,
somebody
that's-
who would absolutely love this space, and I'd love to bring them here.
Hmm
Elle, is it all right with you? Or...
It's fine.
Whee!
Yeah, I mean, when I
Special
think
pass
that
for
IE
digital
spaces,
nomads.
they're
Are you
gonna be
driving,
restricted
Rami, or
to
is it
some-
riding it on its own?
Yeah, you're welcome to come back.
It's
then.
me,
Yeah,
myself,
you're welcome
and
to
I.
come back.
You know me.
The easiest way
okay.
to find them again, if you've favorited them, then just come back in via the favorite link.
Yes.
This is
Yes,
actually
we'll do
really
that.
good in VR.
Yes. And I
then
like
definitely
flying vehicles.
I
If you
know.
go through the if you go through the portal to the, not now, but when you come back, if you go through the portal to the actual asteroid surface, we lowered the
I went-
gravity on that, so you can actually bounce around.
I was
quite
bouncing
fun.
around. I
Wee!
went.
Actually, one of the funny things is we did tour guides in like actual tours in there with people from JAXA, and one of the things that we noticed was that almost everyone immediately runs to the edge of the world and then leaps off.
Yes.
It's a very strange lemmings reaction.
That might be just a
Action
result
is
of going to a
important.
conference.
Yes.
Whee! Oh no! I got stuck. Oh yeah, I'm back.
Oh, I jumped. Yeah, jumping off is good.
Goodbye, cruel world.
At least you're not eating brains.
Who would do something like that, Dave? Seriously, I mean, you brought it up last week as well.
I
Who would ever
know.
do something like
I
that?
can't imagine.
It's crazy. It's so annoying.
Someone just fell.
It's so annoying.
Look at Machio.
I
He's
feel like
now
I'm-
changed into a new suit.
I feel like I'm being gaslighted.
Oh yes.
have a spatial avatar.
Oh, yes, I have a
Oh
station.
man, I
I'm
just tried to
jumping.
clone the avatar
I
then
do
and I
have a
couldn't.
station.
Elizabeth's gaslighting
I would
me.
suggest some planetary aura of some sorts would look really cool in this space to add to your shop.
Yeah, like
Even if it's for in-world coins.
we were hoping to add things
Yeah.
like that. We just ran out of time. Like with also
Like-
I'm not very good at it.
I'm
So.
gonna give you an example.
Yeah.
So this is obviously not for here, but something like this, but with little planets, you know? And they could be rotating and
Oh, like a little solar system.
yeah, I think it would be cool.
That would be a fun
like
little
a
aura.
portable little... Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah, like a little Ori.
So this is
Yeah.
obviously... Yes, do you see what I'm wearing now?
Yeah, but with planets, you mean? That would be really
But with
cool.
planets
that'd be
Yeah,
and...
that's cute. That'd be a really cute idea.
Oh, that,
So we did some basic badges for the quests. Like if you do all the quests, you get the badge. But I really did want to add things like that. It was unfortunately quite far down the priority list. We were slamming in the posters in like the last few days because obviously we had like
I
hundreds
mean, you
of
could
posters.
also...
oh,
Oh, that's... oh
You
my
could also
word,
be
my frame rate.
abducted by aliens, you know?
Intense.
wow, that's
She's gone.
They really got me. They really did get me. I fell.
That'd be kind of cool if you could do it every time someone fell off the asteroid and they were like...
Probably can.
Yeah.
You could set a trigger. You could set a trigger
oh,
area
that's good to
all
know.
around the asteroid. That every time someone Kojima's also got it. Every time someone fell and entered that area, it would trigger an animation. So like the animation that I've got now in the particle system. So it's doable. It's
That would
definitely
be really
doable.
cool.
I
That's a good
think
idea.
some added interaction would be really cool.
Hmm.
There we go. That's quite a heavy particle effect, by the way. Two of you
It is,
were doing it,
especially
and
in
my frames went to
VR.
basically like 5.
I know in
Yeah.
VR it's not recommended, this one.
It's odd. It's not
Um,
too bad until I get close to it. Like at a distance, it's
Yes.
fine. But if I'm on top of you when you do it, it wrecks me.
Beg pardon?
But it is
Yes.
very pretty.
Oh, yeah.
The lag in the voice.
Okay, shall we head to Cyrus? What do you think?
Yeah.
Shall we head to My African Dream and have our feedback discussion? Oh, we need to take photo. We did. Okay, we did. So we'll
we?
go back to My African Dream and then we'll chat about everything there. We can sit next to the hot tub. There's new chairs there at the pool area at the hot tub. So see you there.
Cool.
Okay.
Cool. See
Thank
you
you,
there.
Glenn
Okay.
and team.
Do
Cool.
it.
See
The
ya.
future of meetings.
I forgot I was muted. Was it new seats near the hot tub? I think was said.
Yeah,
Or
that's
are we
right.
in the hot tub?
Where's
But
that?
you mentioned new chairs somewhere.
Oh, there's chairs in the hot
Um,
tub.
Must be in the hot tub. Cool.
The water's a nice effect.
Hilarious. I couldn't speak, but I could hear you saying that. She mentioned, yeah, I thought in a hot tub and
Do you
around the
mean
hot tub. I
don't
opened
get
these
wet, Randy.
every year.
where's the new chairs?
Yeah, where I'm sitting, and
Maybe
then
they're the new
next to the
chairs?
pool, there's new
Oh,
couches.
these
So
chairs.
I opened these up so
Cool.
that there were more. They used to be like two little tables, but sit in the hot tub with pleasure. We
Oh,
can hear each
no,
other
this is
here. So
good. I like your new chairs.
I'll stay wet.
I've got.
so
I can't bring my coffee into the
my
hot tub.
my suggestion is, Glenn, why don't you start by asking us things about the space that you maybe want to know about, so that we can sort of do our co-creation thing, and then there's
Damn.
do your thing.
I should have made you do the onboarding, and then I could have asked about the onboarding experience. But,
Oh, what's the onboarding
oof.
experience?
If well, you can do it another time. If you do it, if you go back from the main hall, like where you spawn, turn around and go back. There's an entry hall, and that's like a locked quest. It's the way we actually put people in, and they have to like go around and listen to the holograms and figure out how to move. And but, like each booth basically has a hologram spatial avatar up here. I say hologram because it's done using videos, but see-through videos that are billboarded. There, yeah. So that's not the point I want to talk about. So, but yeah, I want to go back and do that. I guess the major point is how would you drive interactions in a space like that, particularly in a conference theme? Have you got any ideas for how to encourage interactions? So, for example, to get you started, on one of the other, on the CO2 exhibit, which is a giant tower of coal showing how much CO2 was released to get everyone physically to the venue versus the online, which was like a meter tall. We plan to have a tower jump game where being closer to other players allows you to jump higher, and that's one way of driving the interaction, because to progress you have to make friends. But is there anything simpler than that you could see, like like we've talked about affordances before, or ways to get conversations going?
Is it
So
just for
what
me?
I find,
Glenn is so choppy. I can hardly hear him.
Glenn is a little
You
bit
can't hear
choppy,
me.
but not severely. I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
I can swap the PCs.
Okay.
For me, what I've
It was a little
seen
choppy
works
for me.
well, and working with other people that are doing conferences and stuff, I would go to a sort of experience-based space as a team and have an experience there, and then go back to your conference venue. I don't think you necessarily have to work it into your venue, but for example, if you were doing a thing about Mars and space, like go to the first wave, do the quest together, everyone runs around, has fun, and then they're sort of forced to make friends. It worked really well with the conference that they had recently. They had 5,000 people, and they came in here like in little batches. And here's where they ended up making friends, because the previous time, they have this conference every 14 or 15 years, and the previous time that they did it, it was in South Africa, and they went on safaris in their spare time, right? So I think because it's the metaverse, I would leverage the fact that you can do all those things that you can't do in the physical world, and maybe go on outings. Then you don't have to, because there's only so much one can have in a space. And for me, the space is either super realistic or it's sort of more of an experiential space, right? So here, as much as I'd love to have additional lights and whatever, I have the game drive, and I have all the animals that move, and so it's more of an experience-based space. So I would sort of collaborate or build separate spaces and then go on outings together as a group. That's what I would do. Because I think it's difficult to... We were talking about this after the one conference. It's very difficult to sort of... There's no need to replicate the physical world entirely. You have to leverage the fact that you're in the metaverse, right?
Yeah, no,
That
agreed.
would be my suggestion.
So I guess actually that would lead me into well, same topic but slightly different angle. One of the reasons that we chose to keep it familiar to start with was because, I'll be blunt, a large amount of our attendees are grumpy old men who want nothing to do with video gaming, yet simultaneously lament the loss of social interaction. So how, on the same note, of course, and both questions are open, but like, how would you get the buy-in for people to try it? Because like so many people just join and went, oh, it's just Second Life, or oh, it's just a game, and they failed completely to even unmute and or join in VR or turn their cameras on, and they just walked around for 30 seconds and then left. So I guess experience is one answer.
I mean, you need a host, right? You need someone who hosts. Like, I think you'd be good at that, but you need someone who hosts the whole thing. I'm probably not the right person to ask, because even if they're a grumpy old man, I'll badger them until they start laughing and unmuting and throw them to the lions, and they'll end up having a good time. So you have to sort of read the room and see what is this person interested in. It's more of a social thing for me. It doesn't matter what you're doing or whatever. There's a way to get everyone's buy-in in an activity. So I would start almost in the more social-based space, and make them feel at ease. Do something simple enough, like driving them around on a vehicle and showing them things where they don't have to do too much, because as soon as there's a fine line between you want them to participate, but if it gets too overwhelming, they're immediately going to click exit and tell you the internet connection dropped, which it didn't. So I would get them to walk up and down, jump up and down, hop on a vehicle and drive them around. And then whilst you're driving them around, let them talk and get that social interaction that they need. So that's generally how I tend to get people's buy-in. I have a lot of grumpy old men that come here.
I mean, I was stereotyping.
Present company included.
Present company wearing orange jackets included.
Yes. Big arrows at the orange jacket. Yeah. Kidding. I think that's a really good point. What Lisbeth's saying. Sometimes it's maybe not about, when it comes to these digital experiences, and in particularly if you're talking about grumpy old men and that type of audience, I think going overboard is probably too much. So you need to simplify it, and maybe so just kind of picking up on Lisbeth's point, replicating the kind of more real world kind of things, like driving around, little kind of interactions, especially if they're not used to digital or virtual. Big kind of splashes can be sort of too much for people, I guess, depending on the audience, and keeping it a bit more simple, a bit more basic. So that's why I really like your space, the exhibition hall, because it really does replicate the real world really well. You have it laid out
very
exactly
well,
like a conference space.
Exceptionally well. It's outstanding.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. Yeah,
thank you.
And
gorgeous.
As an ex-conference designer, manager, whatever you want to call it, those booths and everything just really reminded me of a real world conference. I think keeping it like that is probably the key, and not overdoing the interactions too much.
Yes, and taking them out, like taking them on an outing, like you would do in the physical world, So I
was very serious when I said I'd bring people here to, if we'd known about this, we'd have linked to the world for certain, and asked you to probably talk to you about doing like some linking or something, but especially with the South Africa conference. But yeah, I mean it does. I mean, we did actually find with the CO2 space we have, which is like literally a giant desert, very like terrain with the Burj Khalifa in the middle. We actually found that people went on pilgrimages to the edge of the world, and it's like a 10-minute run to the edge of the world if you run it. And it's also a 7-minute climb to climb the Tower of Carbon, just literally 7 minutes of climbing. And those two activities, for the people that were engaged, they used that as an excuse to hang out and talk. But we had a lot. We had maybe about 80% attrition rate within, even landing in the main hall. They couldn't figure out how to move or turn the mic on, and we'd spent, sorry, not complaining, we spent literally like probably about 50% of our conference planning on how to handle that, and it still wasn't enough. And that was, as you say, it's a very simple space. There was people in it to help. But
that's a huge point, tricky. Whether it's even just desktops, 2D experience, and in particular, if it's VR and people haven't used it, people can kind of jump the gun and get straight into this. All right, okay. And even moving for people who haven't
clicking
used
and dragging, managing the camera and the avatar separately is one of those things that you either have grown up with it or have learned it as it's come along. And most people still pick it up fairly quickly, but sometimes it's enough of a barrier that it's unfamiliar enough and scary enough that they just immediately bolt. And that's, that was...
Yeah, and we can kind of skip that part, thinking like, oh, let's go straight to the big experiences and the great, insane, amazing interactions. And then it just comes down to, how do you move? How do I move forward?
So right, Cyrus. I had that experience the other day. I brought somebody in, and then I realized I wasn't going to be able to show what I wanted to show because I first had to help her to move around. Got to go right
That's
down
what I'm
to
saying,
that
like
basic.
specific, even if it's a whole day dedicated to that, where people can come in their own time and in and out and practice. Without that, you're going to lose so much either engagement, participants, or conference time.
Yeah,
we did
and
actually
I know
a week of open access beforehand.
Oh wow, that's long.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, that was beforehand, yeah, and then we had
a
dedicated day.
And still can't move
dedicated
forward.
hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a different audience.
Well, I think honestly that is actually probably one of the things we're coming to the conclusion of, that we might move to a different audience. But
sometimes it is, though. Sometimes it does come down to that it's just the wrong audience.
Oh,
yes.
And it doesn't matter what you do. You shouldn't have to spend that long kind of onboarding people.
What I would have added is like little rewards for reading all the information or watching the videos to the end, So as each video finishes, you get awarded an in-world coin, and then you've got little auras and things in the world in your shop that people can then use. Then they get rewarded for participating. So
that's a good idea.
That's usually children or adults. They're incentive based.
I thought about adding stuff to the end of each quest, like so one quest per world and there's a reward at the end. But that's a really good point, actually, like the idea of reinforcing the rewards cycle sooner so that they get some sense of progress and success as soon as they achieve. That's a good point.
Even just watching one video gets you some coins,
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. That's a really good idea.
It is a nice interaction, and while I agree with it completely, and don't get me wrong, but you got to really balance that very carefully. Otherwise, it becomes more of an extrinsic reward as opposed to an intrinsic. So are they really getting value from watching the video or consuming the content if they have more interest in just getting the reward? I know that's an age-old battle or an age-old argument, but it's I think there's a lot of merit to it in terms of just being careful about rewards when it comes to...
Yeah, we definitely had people min-maxing stuff already.
Yeah.
Because we actually had real rewards for some of the things, like, like real rewards, like they got money to buy stuff from the merch shop, essentially, for the conference that would ship anywhere and things like that. I think someone even got a headset, I can't remember, for like if you did all of the quests and you did everything, you were in the prize draw. But people were just like speed running the posters. It was like, go view 10 posters so that you can then talk to people about the posters that you've, and they were just running up, waiting the 3 seconds for the thing to shrink and ding, and then through to the next one. They never actually looked at the posters. So it's hard.
I mean, I see it in Spatial a lot as well. People racing through stuff just to get the badge or just to get the coins, whatever. Now it is, don't get me wrong, Elizabeth, you're totally right as well. I'm just really, really kind of mindful of how do you get that balance I don't know if anybody has really figured that out, and how do you kind of strike that balance between intrinsic, extrinsic. I mean, you're going into gamification, aren't you? And you're talking about gamifying things, and it's super tricky. But if you can crack it, I mean, that's insane. That's the key. Some things I've cracked it, but then they're constantly patching things though, because you're going into game design, and you're talking about balance. You're talking about how do you balance a game or an experience, which is about finding that balance between difficulty, easy, joy, intrinsic, extrinsic, and you're trying to constantly maintain that it just has that balance between all those factors. And I think what the cool thing is and the exciting thing is how, all this game design and comes into experiential design for conferences, for all sorts of digital experiences, and bringing in those same theories like game design and how do you balance a game design. That's why you have so many patches and so many updates on games and different experiences, because it's constantly changing because of the players or the audience. One day it's super easy
also if you
or super hard,
things.
then the next day it's easy as hell. Then you gotta fix that formula again. Balance.
Yeah. But it's also hard, right? Because it's if you're too balanced for too long, you end up with a meta that everyone just uses. That, like, if you're in like a shooting game or something, everyone just uses the one gun that everyone knows is the best gun.
Yeah, exactly.
And
finding the little glitch.
And I think some of the content, if you find that people aren't engaging with the content sufficiently, some of the content could be presented in a separate space as an experience. Like, I know Cyrus has Lost Voices, which has educational content. Louis builds for educational purposes. And there, when you run through the mountains and whatever, so you're actually living it sort of as if you're in the physical area that you're learning about. And there's information that pops up at each specific little point, then it's, for me, that's easier to learn that way than to learn in a physical world type of conference. So I would still be able to sit there and attend the talks, but if it's information you want to pass on about the depends what it is. Let's just say that
I mean,
I can't remember the
for
Japanese
like outreach
thingy.
and stuff.
I would I would do that in a separate space and have it as an interactive experience, because I can almost know off by heart the stuff that I've learned in the educational spaces, because you're engaging so many more of your senses than just the auditory sense or the visual sense. You're actually experiencing it, and I believe in learning through experience. Hi, Lee.
That's a good
We're
point.
just chatting about digital
think,
nomads.
On
I
that
think that's
note,
a good
please
point.
excuse me. Sorry, I have a physical world
No
appointment.
problem. I know you have to leave early.
Thanks,
Thank you
Linda.
very much.
Thanks for coming.
Drive
Glenn.
safely.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. Rami, you're awfully
Lee,
quiet over
welcome.
there.
Hi,
Where is
my
Rami?
friend.
Hey, Lee.
Yeah, I can see that.
You're just your butt's floating outside the hot tub now. So.
Your spaces are great though, Glenn. Like really amazing and beautiful. And I think you have interactions there already. I mean, obviously, all of us can improve things. I thought the birds thing in the first space and I think it was the main hall. Little things like that, I imagine, are conversation starters. It reminds me of physical conferences where they'd have whatever little quirky thing. I mean, I organized some really crazy live music in unique spaces where we told the story of the evolution of whiskey. This sounds very typical now, being Irish. But yeah, we did that anyway. And it was in a whiskey museum.
It does.
But it was part of a conference. But we matched that type of music to the specific epoch of the whiskey evolution. But you have those kind of things. If you can bring those kind of things into conferences in the digital space, like those really cool birds, slightly those are like cool things that spark conversations and inspire moments, I think.
So
So
I
think you guys are on
I think in
the right track.
the maybe just conversation starters. So just to disentangle two things that came up from Lisbeth's and yours things at the same time. One of the things that we wrestled with doing an experience, and I'm definitely not saying that it's not doable. We certainly should, but most of the audience were there for the highly technical, like the right on the bleeding edge of stuff that's sort of going on. And so in order to explain that is like a whole production, and realistically only like 4 people that are there who are interested in one topic. So we did go more towards like the ASCAP exhibit has a bit more interaction. But I think you're right. So just I think for outreach or anything that's a bit more general purpose interest, we should certainly do some experiences. I think that could be interesting. Like going to the Space Museum or whatever, that would still appeal to everyone that was at the science conference. So we could probably do that. But then to come back to your idea of the so we should do that as well. And I think that's a good thing to go with. But to come back to the idea of the birds, I mean that's kind of more of a what's the word? Not as specific to that particular conference, which might be more doable. Because I mean, imagine having to explain like how like some particular part of a magnetosphere in a pulsar does something, and that's really and you could spend a whole year making a production of animations and things to tell this story, and then there's only like 10 people in the world that are interested at that level. So, but I guess with things like the birds, I was thinking as soon as you said make the birds move, I thought, well, wouldn't it be more fun to have a stick that directs where the birds move to, so that you could sit here and point and have them flow around? Would that not be more like
in that way?
Driving
That's cool because you have that sort of action consequence for engagement, interaction that the user, whatever participant, whatever you want to call them, they're doing it. Yeah, they're in control of that action, and I think that's always better if you can manage to do that, because it creates more engagement straight away. Oh, I'm moving those birds. That's cool.
Yeah.
As opposed to it happening.
And then
really cool.
This might be, sorry.
Oh, you got
this might be like something very basic, but if you have a coffee table and it equips the attachment as you walk up to it, then people seem to find this hilarious. Like I made this just for fun, and we had it. I think it was at Linda's birthday. And when one person equips it, it sparks the conversation of, oh, how do I get that? Oh, look, and it's going through my head and it's going through. So having something like that, which then as you walk up to the attachment, it equips, and then you have I have an unequipped thing, an unequipped prefab. So if I want to then unequip my in-world attachment, let me just show you, so that it works for VR as well. Then I just walk in here and it will take it off, you see? So this is specifically for auras. So it's not going to take off my glass, but it's going to take off my in-world aura. So something like that is for me a huge conversation starter. And I definitely think I would incorporate, if it's like a physical conference space, then do it with cups of coffee, Why not?
Yeah.
So,
beer. all the feedback is like, oh, I miss having beers.
Yeah, playing on the kind of the real world little objects that already exist in a conference, in physical world, and and making them magical. Especially if it's real.
Yeah, like I think so I'm how do I say this? There's I've been in a lot of VR apps where they make you, like you can go pick up a coffee, you put it in the coffee machine, even in things like Glue, which is focused on business. And I noticed that as an initial thing, people really love it. After the first time that they've encountered, the first few times they've encountered it, they tend to not bother doing it anymore. However, I like the concept of making it magical in the sense of if you tie the drinking of the coffee to the ability, to an ability, that might be, as in the ability to run faster or jump a little bit
Yeah,
higher.
yeah,
or-
exactly. Superpower from caffeine, like the caffeine sort of major hit, which allows the
Yeah,
player to go nuts, walk through walls.
Yeah, so
So
like
like,
if you had like oh go ahead, sorry.
sorry. But like here you can equip Peanut. Okay, Luty made Peanut because Peanut died. So, and then to unequip Peanut, you just walk here, right? So you could equip like a whole bunch of, so now you've got him in VR as well if you go into third person. You could equip a whole bunch of planet
Yeah,
kind
I'm
of
having a look.
things.
Yeah, this
So,
works perfectly in VR.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
it
It
does.
does.
I really want
Yeah.
like Peanut, I really wanted rewards of like a planet and a galaxy and a star that people would earn
Yes,
from
and
looking
imagine,
at 10 posters.
and imagine
Yeah.
then you collect them, right? Then people are going to look and
Yep.
see, ooh, that one's got, where did you get that? What quest do I need to do to get that? And it's sort of, you know,
It's an
Very
it's
cool.
icebreaker
become,
and it's I mean the
Yeah.
nice thing is if you
mm-hmm.
actually tie it to the right themes, it's also an icebreaker with a real use in the sense of
It is.
that guy
It
is a
is.
galaxies guy, that guy's a planetary guy, planets guy, that guy's a satellites,
Yep.
and you can already tell something about them from, which is how we do it in real life as well, right? Like we read people's t-shirts, we read their backpacks, their pins, their
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah, that's a good point.
Oops.
I really might, once I get into doing this again, because we're taking a break, once we get into doing this again, I might ask you to, like, I'd love to have like
After all
an
that.
idiot's guide to doing something like Peanut, because presumably you can just change the model. And wait, why did Peanut just fly? Was that you dragging him?
Oh no, that was me. That's the prefab.
Oh,
That's
the
the prefab. You can change the model for Peanut. Yes, you can change the model, but Luty's animated the model. He's put in wings. He's put him in a specific area. So yeah, but yes, it's not
So that's just tied to a
rocket
prefab,
science.
is it?
It's
As well,
still,
so you
but the
literally have
unequipped, for
spawned the
example,
prefab.
works for everything. I've
Yeah,
spawned the prefab, so I can take him, like, we're giving him to anyone who wants a Peanut in their space, that their users can then walk around wearing Peanut. So anyone who wants Peanut can just get Peanut, because it's not like a product. We wanted to just let him live on. So I can spawn him in any
But he
space.
just lives in this space, right?
No, but that's what so he's already in Olympus Academy as well, because that's where he went first, Luty's space. So I can take
so you can
Peanut the
just
prefab is
import
what
the
I'm saying,
prefab
and
presumably.
I'm going to give it to whoever wants it for their space. We're giving it to whoever wants it. So that Peanut
We're
can
still
live on.
live streaming.
He's an
Blu-ray.
in-world attachment because he's heavy. So he's above the count, the vertex count, to be an aura that can be taken anywhere. So Peanut specifically
yeah, I
is
suppose
in-world, but
he's got all
you
those
could,
little feet.
yes, but you can totally make it. Most of our auras are universal. But if it was me doing your thing, I would make it universal.
Yeah, that would be
Have a great day,
cool.
Coach. Coach says it was a great world tour. The world is so very well done. So I also really love the booths, the little areas where people can sit and chat. I think that's so important at conferences. So I love that.
I got lost in the shop. I keep making that mistake. I tried to go into your shop. I ended up into the main Spatial Avatar store, and then I got thrown out.
How I'm having a hard time. I'm using Google, and when I get ready to try to record, it won't save it. It like comes up as a 0 bytes in the file. They say it was a glitch or something. I don't know. Are you using a different program to record?
I'm not sure what you're saying. I'm not sure what you're saying, Lee.
Let me see. There's a recording feature in Spatial, but when I press it, it doesn't save the file. It comes. I'm using a Google as the browser.
Using Chrome.
Chrome, sorry, yes. And it's just not saving the file.
I'm in Chrome. It saves it to your downloads.
I haven't used it lately. It was bugged. Yeah.
wasn't saving it. I mean,
presumably for the live stream, I think.
Going for a swim.
So for your optimization, when you say you remodeled the things, Glenn, did you remodel them in Blender, like decimate or make them from scratch, or?
So Elle is our Blender person, and yes, she remodeled some of them in Blender. She's been learning for about, I guess, on and off now, about 3 to 6 months now in Blender. And I basically did things like LODs and things like the mesh optimization, the material optimization in Unity. So really for like proper stuff that we decided to fully remodel, yes, it was Elle in Blender. And for things that were, where we could just get a decimation tool that works in Unity or the mesh tool that I talked about earlier. Yeah, and that was me.
And when you say LODs, what is that? I don't know the term,
so
sorry.
LODs are a way of only loading on demand the objects that you look at, and you have basically different versions of the same object. And at long distance, it's billboarded. It's literally just a 2D thing facing the user all the time. And as you get closer, it loads higher and higher resolution versions. They work.
That's like the tool you
quite
sent
well.
us, right?
There's another one that's like that will allow you to make the LODs automatically from, so you just take your model of your table like this, feed it into one of those tools. And again, it's like $20. And it will
Can you share that one with us as well, please?
As well? Yeah, sure, I can share that. So you can make your LODs manually in Blender, like you literally make 4 or 5 different models. But you can also just
absolutely not going to happen with me.
Exactly. That was my
not when it
attitude with
can
it.
be done in a tool. Yeah,
Exactly,
like
that was my
why
attitude.
reinvent the wheel?
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't end up using them too much in the end because we did just get the overall countdown. My major complaint with them was the space that I was in, but even the main hall there isn't really that beneficial to use LODs because like you never get far enough away. But for stuff like your stuff that you've got out here, like you could have a way lower model for those houses in the distance until you get closer.
And all the animals. The
and all the
majority
animals as
of
well.
my vertices are going towards
Are the
animals in
animals?
this space.
Yeah,
Yes.
that would give you a massive performance probably boost because like they're all out there at the moment. They don't need to be loaded
No,
on my
they
headset.
don't. They don't.
If you could probably, I mean, the distance the elephants are at, they could probably just be billboarded. So they'd just be images essentially at that range. They cost nothing.
And I mean, you can't even see the rhinos. I know where the rhino is, so I can see the little white speck.
Yeah.
But there's really no need.
Yeah.
So certainly,
potentially,
I'd say in a space this big, but I'm not an expert, Cyrus. You probably know more than me.
Potentially, I'm just thinking actually because it's really good things you're.
Where are you?
There,
Are you
Glenn,
underwater?
Oh yeah, I'm underwater. I'm in the pool.
Why?
I don't know. And where's Peanut is over my head. He was. Where's he gone?
Yeah, he is.
Still there.
He's there.
He's over your head.
Oh yeah, there he is flying. But I was going to say actually, maybe another way of actually doing it, because if you think about it, if a model is like way off in the distance and you don't need to see it, yeah, and you're right, why load it? But you could actually create a trigger, which when you get into a certain area, then it triggers that object, and then it only loads. So maybe a simple little script.
And my initial thought is yes. However, I swear that when I tested this on Spatial with a really heavy object that was deactive until I got. It depends if you. I don't know much more about spawning stuff other than activating and deactivating them tied to a script. But when we had them in space but deactive, they were still pretty heavy. But that's only a hunch.
Yes.
But are you talking about spawning them using like an actual?
You see, maybe there's a difference in Spatial. Maybe it kind of counts it as being there, regardless if it's activated or not.
Well, it would definitely count in your build
build
megabytes, but you should try it. Give it a try.
Yeah, because it's something I do, for custom build. And the models are deactivated until you kind of like do X, Y, Z, and then it triggers that model, and that tends to keep the verts down and the
Okay, that's worth
behaving
trying.
okay. Yeah, but maybe there's a difference though with spatial, because I'm not too
There's
sure.
a difference with spatial because, like, my swing, for example,
Yeah.
I think it's the swing, one of the, or the hot air balloon. But anyway, sometimes when we do the animations, we have two objects. It counts both objects towards the vertex count. So I don't know if that will affect the frame rate per second, but it definitely does go. It does.
It counts it, yeah.
It counts.
I mean,
yes.
it will always count it on the spatial tool, even if it's
Yes.
deactivated. It will count on the spatial tool.
Yes.
But I don't. I mean, I'd say it's worth trying.
But I
Get
don't
something
know.
that's like stupidly
But I
heavy.
mean, the screen only renders what it can see, right? So it surely will
Otherwise-
benefit
Actually,
the performance. It has
I
to
was going to
benefit
ask
the
about that.
performance if it's
Does
inactive.
anyone know if it actually does occlusion culling? Because Unity says, yeah, it should. I swear Spatial doesn't. Like, if I put a wall in front of me and on the other side put a stupidly heavy model, I swear my frame rate will still be terrible. Even if I can't see the object.
It does
all the
occlusion
time.
That's
culling.
the same. That's the same point.
Let me drag you to behind a mountain if everybody doesn't mind. Watch your frame rate per second go up significantly.
Where should you go?
Okay, so mine has doubled when I'm now looking at the sky.
Yeah, but the direction it does do. So Spatial definitely does the direction culling. Like, if I look one direction and then look the direction of it, yeah, it's still heavy if I look over to the left. But
Oh, you
I don't know,
meant
I ought to
the
do a
actual,
couple
like
of test
putting-
worlds.
Yes, do some test work. No, Lee, fall off is not on. As you know, with my space, it's really huge. So when we get to one
funny,
area
actually.
of the space,
When,
naturally, you can't hear, but I never put fall off on.
When I look
unless I
towards
need
the
to have a private
sky, the
conversation.
FPS is higher than
Yeah.
when I'm actually looking,
Of course.
straight ahead.
Yes,
If you look
because you're not
behind you, if you look
rendering
over
all
towards
the...
the...
Yeah, but you would imagine though it's just a skybox, so it's not very heavy, or it's not.
It's not... Yes, so your frame rate per second goes up. You get more frames per second. It's a good thing.
Sorry, I thought it was actually. I thought the FPS went down. Sorry, it actually went up in number. That is a
No.
good thing. Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. I've
Edit
actually
that
got the tool on now.
from YouTube. Brain fart. Okay. Yeah, but I do think probably does need a few more tests though, because it's an interesting subject. You know, the LOD, the LOD thing that's cool. That's a good point actually. I use that.
Yeah, I
for
mean, they
trees
weren't
way off
useful
in the
for me in the
distance.
space I was in because it's too small. Like, I used them, but like I could literally see the textures popping in and the poly popping in as I got closer. But yeah, I'm just...
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, obviously it would make sense to have a small space.
Yeah, I've got 72 frames a
Here,
second when I'm
it
looking
would
up at
be
the sky.